With all our hearts, we pray and ask, God bless Anambra, God bless the shining light that we bear. We're the only ones to make her brighter, the only ones to make her better, the only ones to make Anambra shine. With our sweat and blood, every breath of our lives, we've trust in God, we will live.
Governor Obiano's policy of inclusiveness, a masterstroke. A leader who comes prepared for governance is usually identified through his or her visions and actions. Governor Willie Obiano, from the onset of his administration, began a practice of carrying different categories of people along, so no group will feel marginalized. He extended a hand of fellowship to political opponents, urging them to join hands with him to ensure that peace and progress reign in the state, and has continued with that mindset of carrying everyone along.
I think it's very important to understand that for a man that has been a corporate person before coming into government, that it is natural that His Excellency Chief Dr. Willie Obiano, in his previous lives, would have seen all sorts of talents coming from different people. I think if you have that broad exposure in life, you begin to realize that talent or competence or expertise does not reside in one particular gender or even group of people. So I'm not surprised that his broad and rich exposure in life, corporate exposure in life, and even from families. All of us come from families. There are things that women, our sisters, our mothers do better than the male folks. So we've seen, I'm sure that's part of what has informed him. In terms of the age, youth and the rest of them, I'll tell you, if you're a parent, as you grow, as your children grow, you begin to also trust in their judgment. And I'm sure all of that is informing his the policy of inclusiveness, bringing in youth, bringing in women, and then people with disability.
From the appointment of members of his cabinet, Governor Obiano's policy of inclusiveness was expressly stated. Over 50% are youths, while the women have a fair representation, first making Governor Obiano one of the most gender and youth-friendly governors in Nigeria. Governor Obiano's cabinet has the youngest commissioners in the country, in the persons of Mark Okoye, Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget Development, who was appointed at the age of 30 and served as special advisor in his 20s, and Bonaventure Enemali, who was earlier appointed Commissioner for Youth, Arts and Creative Economy, now Commissioner for Lands, the first person from the Igala-speaking area of Anambra State to be appointed a commissioner. Other young people are also in the Obiano's cabinet.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, has done extremely well in the area of youth inclusiveness. But if you look at the history of Nigeria, and perhaps the history of Anambra State, it's only during the administration of His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, that we have the two youngest commissioners in Nigeria. And the two youngest commissioners are from Anambra State. And not only that they are from Anambra State in the Executive Council, but they are heading the critical ministries. The Ministry for Economic Planning is very important in the economy of every state. And the youngest commissioner in Nigeria is heading that ministry. And you come also look at the Ministry of Land, Physical Planning and Urban Development. Is being managed and headed by the second youngest commissioner in Nigeria also, which is the part of the excellent work that His Excellency have done, believing the capacity and building the succession plan, and bringing everybody on board to run the governance of Anambra State. No governor have done that in the history of Anambra State, perhaps in Nigeria. And also, if you look at it also, you find out in the area of disability also, they have a special office for people with disability, that coordinate the activities of people who are disabled in Anambra State, and they provide employment for them. All the activities, all the information, all the concerns of people living with disability goes to them, and they are managing that office very well. In the other way also, you look at for women in politics also, at the executive at the cabinet level, you find that you have almost 9 female political appointees in the executive council, which is not, it has not happened in the history of Anambra State as well. Also, it's done that the administration of His Excellency, the governor of Anambra State, Governor Willie Obiano, that we also have the first female, judge, in Anambra State. That shows, he's very inclusive. He carry everybody along, and that is why his government is adjourned the best, government so far in Anambra State.
Governor Obiano's administration's deliberate and well-crafted policy of women empowerment within the context of gender equality and a 35% affirmative action on women's participation in government has today produced a female Chief Justice of Anambra State, a position that had often been occupied by men. Same for the Anambra State Ministry of Justice, which has a woman as the Attorney General, a position that accords a woman with the revered position of the Chief Law Officer of the state. Today, in the very critical area of education, 2 women have been carefully appointed in positions of highest authority. Some other ministries in the state are headed by women. Governor Obiano's body language towards inclusiveness could be said to have influenced the State House of Assembly, which had 2 of its former speakers as women in the persons of Right Honorable Chinwenwe Willie and Right Honorable Rita Madawo. Governor Obiano gives automatic employment to all graduates of Anambra origin who have one form of disability or another. Today, Anambra State has a senior special assistant on disability matters who was practicing law successfully in the USA before he was called to serve. He is visually challenged.
Great move. His Excellency has done a lot carrying the disability community along. He is the one that has set out to implement the provisions of the Convention of Rights of the People with Disabilities. United Nations has a convention on the rights of people with disabilities, required all member countries to enact a local legislation to domesticate the same United Nations treaty, the provisions of that treaty. In Anambra State, it has been done. Apokuedike Global, the persons with disabilities call him Ogogo and Diolosi for what he has done. And the provisions of that treaty we are referring to, which has been domesticated in Anambra State, provides for inclusion of persons with disabilities in all aspects of the life of the society. So that inclusiveness is what has been in Anambra State very much provided for in all that we do, in all that His Excellency does. In employment, he has employed persons with disabilities. In appointment, he has appointed persons with disabilities to various high positions in government, many of them for the very first time. Then in the society, he has required everyone, every project executed in Anambra State, whether private or public, to be handicap accessible.
Another visually challenged person has become a permanent secretary under the Obiano administration, the first ever.
In my own case, a couple of times people spoke on my behalf with regards to that permanent secretary speech, permanent secretaryship, even with the former governor. But they didn't want to listen to me. But I thank God that with our present governor, Chief Dr. Willie Obiano, immediately the recommendation was made to him. He approved it. And the wife also was very helpful. So these are people that really were instrumental to my being the first permanent secretary in Nigeria. They used to say West Africa, but I don't know about that. But the one I'm sure of is the first visually impaired permanent secretary in Nigeria.
Many other persons with disability have been given political appointments under the Obiano administration.
Thank you. My name is Amobi Wangu. I am from Nnewi in Anambra State. I work under the Office of the Governor on Disability Matters. Truly, I feel very happy and I thank God for the employment from His Excellency, and the excitement is really boundless. I'm so happy for the employment, not only to myself and some other persons who had graduated from different higher institutions and are working under the state government. Before now, most of them would just immediately after employment, they stay back home without being considered for employment. So when we eventually got this employment, we were very happy, and we appreciate His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, for his love to persons with disabilities and taking care of us. He's like a father to us all. And now I see I'm working under the state government, even with my disability. So I really appreciate God, and thank you also for coming.
The move by His Excellency is wonderful, because we have seen a lot of changes since he came into power as the Governor of Anambra State. The level of inclusion is too high. Before now, we don't have any person with disability being appointed as given any appointment in the political, given any political appointment. But now we have about 7 of them being appointed to work with His Excellency to make sure that the issues about persons with disability are being taken care of. And persons with disability are not being considered for employment. But now, more than 80 of them have been given employment. And a lot of things have been going on. Before now, we don't have that privilege to participate in governance. But now, the state government have appointed one of us to represent us in even the budget review committee, meaning that anytime the state government is preparing budget, the interest of persons with disability must be considered. So I don't think there's any governor in the southeast that have been able to do that. In Anambra State, we have such privilege to be part of such an important setting, where budget is being discussed, because it is where, in that budget, it is where the needs of persons with disability will be taken care of by various ministries.
Governor Willie Obiano is the only governor who appointed an executive assistant on albinism in Anambra State.
One unique thing about His Excellency, Dr. Willie Obiano's administration, is his approach, his uniqueness in getting to the minorities, the less privileged in society. To you to appoint somebody that lives with albinism to tackle the issue of albinism, that is a step in the right direction. It only takes person living with albinism to know the problem of persons living with albinism. Because for now, the albinos have a voice. They now have a place to go and register whatever the problem they have. It is through that channel that the governor can now hear them. So he is the first person, the first governor, the first administration to do that. He did it in albinism, he did it in people living with other disabilities. In Anambra State, we have a person living with a disability as a permanent secretary. We have SSA on disability matters, and every other thing. We have SSA on sign language. So that inclusiveness is a unique thing about this administration, and it has helped to get to everybody. Everybody. As far as this administration is concerned, everybody is included, and that is a kudos to His Excellency.
Governor Obiano, who places emphasis on excellence and merit and shuns discrimination of all types, has given appointments to people from other states of the Federation in his administration as executive assistants, special assistants, and senior special assistants, including some members of the State Executive Council.
As an insider, I've discovered that from the policies that were generated, which we implement, as in the Office of the Head of Service, which is in charge of the whole of the public service, we have discovered that the reasons, or governor's reasons, for these policies, they were great, humane. So I am talking about the heart of the governor, Governor Willie Obiano. Is a very kind person, and because of this large heart, he has made many people that were not supposed to be in the service to benefit from the service, provided jobs for not only non-indigenous. We have disabled who hitherto were not in the service because of their nature, So many of them have been brought into the service, and it has not stopped. Anytime requests are made for this kind of inclusiveness, he's always there to approve. It's not only in employment, but in some other things like welfare. The kindness is second to none.
I'm very, very happy for this very opportunity to speak my mind on how I feel with this very wonderful opportunity the Anambra State Governor, Dr. Willie Obiano, Akpakwodike, we the fiscally challenged people, we call him El Gogoamo Bindolosi. I don't know how to express my feeling because this is the first time I'm seeing this ever in this state. At first, it looks somehow when you graduate from school, you have a lot of things, a lot of places you think you can work, but when you come in, they tell you you're fiscally challenged, you are not working, you cannot do that. But Obiano, during his own regime, he decided to remember that it's necessary for people like us who graduated from school that we need to be in an office. So remember those. I feel great. I feel like, I don't know how to express it, but I'm so excited with what he did to fiscally challenge people. I advise other state governors to do as well what the Anambra State government have done, because I know in other states a lot of fiscally challenged people will be suffering the same thing, but lack of attention. People think a lot of things are denying them, and they have the intelligence, they have the brain, they have a lot of things to offer, but because the opportunity is not given to them, those ideas, they are just wasting them. So I advise other state governments to do the same. They should emulate from Obiano, the Anambra State Governor, to do the same to the fiscally challenged people in their states.
In order to ensure that no community is left behind in terms of development, Governor Obiano's administration introduced a novel scheme known as the Community Choose Your Project Initiative. This program enables each of the 181 communities in the state to select a development project according to its greatest area of need, which the state government executes with a sum of 20 million naira. The initiative, which has gone through the first and second phases, is in its third phase, with landmark projects dotting every community in the state. Governor Obiano's administration has a good relationship with all the state governments in Nigeria, all political parties and their members, including candidates in the 2019 general elections, and engages in what it terms strategic relationship with the federal government. This, the governor said, has contributed in no small measure to the unrivaled social harmony in the state, a development that has made Anambra one of the most competitive states in the country. Governor Obiano's relationship with other political parties was showcased more evidently during the burial of the former Vice President of Nigeria, Dr. Alex Ekwueme. Despite the fact that Dr. Ekweme's daughter, Barrister Chidi Ekwueme Onyemelukwe, was the deputy governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the November 17, 2017 gubernatorial election, which took place just 2 days to Dr. Ekweme's demise, Chief Willie Obiano displayed no bitterness towards the Ekwueme family, but rather ensured the elder statesman got a befitting burial. This was part of the reasons that Francis Cardinal Arinze, Prefect Emeritus of the Congregation for Divine Worship and Discipline of the Sacrament at the Vatican, led a pontifical mass at the Christ the King Parish, Umwezawala Ihiala, which preceded an award by the Catholic Church to Governor Willie Obiano and 2 other members of the Anglican Church, Chief Obi Ademora and Barrister Chidi Amambu. They were recognized for working for the good of the society, regardless of social differences. Governor Willie Obiano's administration has continued to give support to mission schools and hospitals in the state through doling out billions of naira to boost health care and basic education. These largesse cuts across denominations. The bridge building ability of Governor Willie Obiano, coupled with integrity, hard work, transparency, and interest in the welfare of his people, just recently earned him the conferment of the title of Are Amogun of Ado-Ekiti, alongside his wife, Chief Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, who was conferred with the title of Erelu Amogun of Ado-Ekiti by the Ewi Oba Adeyomo Adejugbe, who urged politicians to desist from all divisive tendencies in the name of politics. The saying that behind any successful man, there is a woman was never truer than in Governor Willie Obiano's case. Chief Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, wife of Governor Willie Obiano, as a helper and dependable ally of her husband, has continued to personally mobilize resources to help carry the women folk in the state along, especially in the rural areas, having been involved in charity work even before her husband took office as governor. What is happening in Anambra State today under Governor Willie Obiano's administration could be described as a practical demonstration of the commitment of the ruling party in the state, the All Progressives Grand Alliance (APGA), to the fact about Ndi Anambra looking out for each other. Governor Obiano believes that Anambra State will make greater economic and social progress when it deepens its political culture of inclusiveness, amity, camaraderie, and solidarity, which has so far served the state well, and thus entrenching the clarion call, Onyaga na Nwanneya.
With all our hearts, we pray and ask, God bless Anambra, God bless the shining light that we bear. We're the only ones to make her brighter, the only ones to make her better, the only ones to make Anambra shine. With our sweat and blood,